Okay, let's go through a standing flow, something to just get our energy, our bodies moving throughout and feeling good. So come to nice even stance. And we're just going to start by shifting weight from side to side through our feet. This is just to start to feel that connection through each foot. So you can either be lifting the feet up or just moving side to side. The feet are ever so slightly wider than your hips. And you're just transitioning weight from one side to the other. So this might be just a gentle move across till you feel the weight and then coming into the other side. Or you may be just padding through the feet a little bit. So it's important to make connection down through the feet. Maybe even see if you can spread your toes and lift them as you're moving. Now just, if you ever watched a cat needing a bed, we're looking for that kind of little movement through the feet. The knees are loose, the hips are loose, and we're trying to keep the rest of the body nice and loose as well. We're going to loosen up though. Um, so bringing yourself into a steady point now, and notice as you push down through the four corners of the feet, or think about even the front two halves of the balls of the feet, and then the center of the heel is quite a nice way to think about the feet as well, so that you've made connection down through the full area of the ball of the feet and the heel. And then allow your shoulders to start to roll back. So I've got softness in my knees, and I'm just starting to move a little bit up through the shoulders and down again. So shrugging the shoulders up, moving them back and down. A little bit more of a shrug and squeezing them back. And then give it a little shake. So from here, we're going to take it into hip circles. So again, this is a little bit like that, moving the weight from one side to the other, but we're adding in a few circles now and a bit more bend into the knees. So this is just starting to free up our lower back, our legs, our hips a little bit, so you can make this about just the pelvis, so moving it forward and round and back and then coming the other way. So hands on the hips allows you to feel where that movement's happening. And it can feel just a bit nicer for your balance. Or we're going to start to make a few more circles, adding in the bend in the knees as you come forward. Trying to keep the heels down is going to start to work into the back of the ankle and into the Achilles, into your ankles, and taking it the other way. And you can also lean into it a little bit more, which is now starting to get into the back as well, into that lower back. So these can be as dramatic and as little as you like, or maybe now you're just going to steady and start to swing side to side into the hips a little bit and release. Maybe move the feet again once they've been still for a little bit, can get a bit funny. Okay, so feet still hip width apart, slight softness in the knees, and then we're going to think about our stance with the pelvis. So try not to stand with your bottom sticking out too much. There is more dramatic curve in your spine as your pregnancy progresses, but we're trying to lift slightly at the front. So think pubis up a little bit, and then a bit of length in the sacrum. So not quite tucking the bottom all the way under. You don't want to lose your bottom altogether, scooping it under, but you want a little bit of length here and a little lift in the front. So this is a nice neutral position for the pelvis. So think there when we're doing our standing, and release. So we're just going to start with a few circles. Inhale, circling the arms up, bringing the palms together, maybe gaze to the thumbs, and exhale, peeling the elbows wide and bringing the arms back and down. And again, inhale, circle up, maybe lift the gaze, and exhale, peeling it back and release. This time we're going to bring the arms forward. Inhale, lifting up and forward, and exhale, bringing the arms back. So we're trying to scoop them back as much as possible so you get a bit of a stretch across the front of the chest. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, peeling the arms back and circling them down and release. So this time we're going to bend into the knees a little bit more, pushing the hips back, reaching the arms forward, lift the gaze, and then exhale, push into the feet, and then push the arms out behind you. Inhale, sitting back and down. Exhale, push it back. So you can keep this nice and slow, or think about each movement as you reach, lift the gaze, exhale, pushing it back. So these are chair squat, Utkatasana movement. Inhale, lift. The more you lift through the arms, the more it's going to reach through the shoulders, and pushing it back and release. So coming into the circles again, so bending into the knees, circling one way, and then circling the other. So I'm going to come to the front of my mat, and we're going to start to make a little bit more movement. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, circling the arms back, same as we did before. This time interlace the fingers in behind, lift the chest, squeezing the elbows towards each other, lifting the hands away from the back. Maybe lift your gaze, or you might prefer to keep the chin tucked. And release. One more. Inhale, lifting forward and up, pressing the palms, and then as you exhale, circling the arms back, interlace the fingers again. This time maybe the opposite, pinky on top, chest lifted. And release. Okay, coming into that Utkatasana sit again, sitting back, reaching the arms forward. So you could be sitting back a little or a lot, pressing the palms back behind. So you're active through the arms. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe a little bounce into the feet. One more. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, pushing it back. And release. So the circles with the arms again. One more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, circling it back. This time interlace the hands and lift the chest. And as you exhale, stick the bottom out behind, bend the knees and come forward and down. You're gazing towards the mat, sinking back. Maybe it feels okay for you to come into a version of forward fold. Release the hands and sweep it all the way back up to stand, and release the arms back. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, circling it back. Interlace the fingers in behind. Maybe the opposite, pinky on top, chest lifts. Exhale, start to fold forward and down. Coming halfway, lifting the hands away from the back. Stay here, focus on the breath, or come into a version of forward fold, however deep that works for you now. And then release the hands, inhale, sweeping it all the way up, and release. And taking a moment here. So you can rest one hand top of the belly or on the chest, the other on the belly, and start to sway. Just gently sway from side to side. Chin can be tucked. And focus again on the breath. Inhale deeply and exhale fully. So starting to come into more traditional style of poses. So from the front of the mat, we've taken the hands to the hips, roll the shoulders down the back, and slide that right leg back into a high lunge. So depending on how things feel in your body, the closer you keep the foot to the body, the less pull there is on the pelvis. So if you are getting tension in the pelvis, don't come so far back. Or you're pushing down into the ball of the back foot, trying to activate this back leg. So think about tightening up these muscles and dropping into this area between front and back foot. Bringing the hands to the center, push the palms together. So think the knuckles of the palms pushing, the heel of the hand pushing, creating a little bit of tension across the front of the chest. Shoulders still rolling back and down. And release. Stepping forward, and we're going to just take that into the other side. So our high lunge on the other side. So transition your weight into that right side, moving the left leg back, keeping your feet hip width or slightly wider is going to be better for your balance. And again, make sure that you haven't gone too far back with that leg. Honestly, if you have nothing going on in your hips, you can take this into the full version of the pose if you're familiar. And again, think about grounding down through the front foot, pushing down through that back toes as well. Ball of the foot and the back foot. Legs are nice and firm. And thinking left hip forward, right hip back, keeping it nice and even. And maybe now you're creating that lock in the front of the body. This push of the palms together, chest lifted, crown of the head reaching up. And release, bringing it forward. Stepping back again. Right leg coming back. Again, finding that push into the back ball of the foot, whatever works best for you. And we're going to drop into that back knee now. So bending the back knee, dropping down, and then reaching all the way up. So creating maybe a bit straighter in the front leg as you come up. Dropping down and push. One more, dropping down and lift. From the back, push into that back foot, leaning forward and step to the front of the mat. Finding yourself coming into the other side, pushing back into that back foot. Find that steady, firm stance, shoulders rolling down the back. I haven't added any arm movements into this one. You can add the same ones as previously, or keep the hands on the hips. Reaching up, maybe straightening up that front leg a little bit more, dropping down, and pushing into the back toes to come up. One more, drop the knee and push. Leaning forward, taking the weight into this front leg and step it forward to the front of the mat. And begin to sway from one side to the other. So transitioning your weight. Or working a little bit on your hip circles again. So taking it into triangle pose, we're going to step out and turn both feet to parallel. So we'll come into that even stance to begin. Rolling the shoulders down the back, reaching out through the fingertips at shoulder height. Staying here if this is where you want to work today. Or we're going to turn that right leg out, finding that turn from the hip and move the hips towards the left. And as you do, you're going to come into your version of triangle. The hand can come to the thigh, can come to the shin, top arm reaching over, right, reaching up. So depending on your balance, depending on how things are feeling for you at the moment, you can either be looking to the top hand or it might feel more comfortable to look down. And then from here, we're going to add in a bit of movement. Inhale, reaching the top arm forward. And then exhale, pulling the elbow back. Inhale, reach. Exhale to pull. Inhale to reach. Exhale, pulling back. And then coming all the way back up to stand in one motion. Turning the right leg in, turn the left out. So finding your stance on this left side. Reaching over and moving the hips to the opposite side. So we want to keep this a sideways action so that the movement is lengthening through the side of the torso and into the side of the hip. So depending on your body, depends on where you are at the moment for this pose. Keep firmly pushing into both feet, maybe reaching this top arm forward now and pulling the elbow back. Inhale to reach. Exhale, pulling it in. Last one, reaching forward. And exhale, coming all the way back up to stand, reaching out through the fingertips and return to the front of the mat. Inhale, stepping out again. Finding that even balance to begin. So again, even though the feet are further apart, you might like to still wiggle from side to side, find that length through the arms, or roll the shoulders down the back and bring the hands to the hips. So we're going to take this into a forward fold in this wide leg position. So turning the toes slightly in so that when you soften at the knees, we're going to stick the bottom out behind to begin. Maybe slide the hands down to just above the knees. Think crown of the head reaching forward, the back as long as possible. And then maybe for you, you can come down a little bit further. You can grip onto the ankles or you could take the fingertips to the floor. Keep pushing evenly into the feet. And maybe now you're reaching the hips up and bringing yourself a little bit further forward and down. Inhale, lift. taking the hands to above the knees, soften the knees a little bit more and coming all the way up to stand. Inhale, circling the arms up. Exhale, pulling the elbows wide and bringing the hands around the back. Interlace the fingers, chest lifts. Exhale, squeezing forward and squeezing, reaching the hips back, bending the knees, soften the neck so that the chin tucks slightly. And maybe now you're going to come into more of a forward fold. So if taking the forward fold with the hands around the back is not working for you, you're just bringing them back to the knees or back to the floor. Inhale, hands to the knees and carefully come all the way up to stand. So add in our extended side angle. Turn the right leg out and bend into this right knee. So for me, I need to move the feet further apart. You might be fine where you are. In fact, I'll just do it like this. Rolling the shoulders down the back, reaching out through the fingertips. So find that reach, pushing evenly down into the feet, reaching over the right side, taking the hand above the knee or the forearm to the knee, sweeping this arm all the way forward. Reach forward to begin and then roll the chest towards the ceiling possibly. Steady breath. Again, it might feel better for your balance to look to the mat. And maybe now you want to roll the arm around your lower back. Keep turning the shoulder up. On your next inhale, push firmly down into the feet. Rise up. Bring this right arm up in front, looking towards the hand for a reverse warrior. This is giving you a bit of length in the side of the body and through the front. Release the arms to the sides and turn that right leg in. Turning the left out, taking it into an extended side angle sequence on this left side. So again, maybe adjust where the feet are. Maybe this is far too far for you now, or you might feel that you still want to be further apart. You adjust, listen to your body. You are your best teacher. Hand comes to the above the knee or the forearm comes down, sweeping this arm away, reaching forward, and then as you do, you're going to turn the chest towards the ceiling. Find that reach through the side of the body. Maybe gaze all the way to the fingertips. Again, it might feel better for you to be looking down. Sweeping the arm round and forward again, wrapping it round the back. So we've got a tendency to let the chest roll forward here. So actively turn it back and up, look towards the shoulder, the ceiling, or maybe you're still looking down, just making sure that shoulder's coming up. Coming into your reverse warrior, push down into the feet, rise up, lift this left arm up towards the ceiling, find a little reach up through this side of the body, gaze to the hand. Maybe you're still gazing forward, that feels better for you, that's good. And release. Coming back to stand, heel toe the feet together a little bit, and release. Okay, back into our Utkatasana sequence. We're going to start with a few circles, one way and then the other. So this time I'm going to do it with my feet a little bit wider than previously. So inhale, sweeping it forward, sitting back and down, maybe reaching a bit further forward, sinking a bit lower. And then exhale, pulling the elbows back as I reach back and up. Inhale. Coming forward, exhale, pulling it back. One more like this, inhale. And exhale to release. And coming back into the circles and the sway side to side. So this time we're going to start to step in and take the weight from one side to the other. Bend into the knees and come forward and up. Forward, sideways and up. So this again, working into our ankles, through the feet, bending into the knees, into the hips. And release. Okay, last little set of movements. This is going to take us into balance and added movement. So if you find that you are quite unstable or you just want a little bit of help, keep your fingertips on the wall. But we're going to start by moving the weight into one side and bringing the opposite leg to the inside of that leg. So we're just keeping the knee facing forward, step it in and take the weight onto that standing leg and to the other side. You can bend into this as much as you want, make it as dramatic as you would like. And then this time, we're going to lift the leg up in front and step it down and across and lift up. One more to each side. Lift. And then the other side and lift. And this time as you come across, we're going to lift the leg and then we're going to see if we can turn the knee out and bring it back to center and place it down. Staying on that side, we're going to lift again, turn the knee out and bring it back to center, this time just to touch, and bring it out and place it back down. Taking it into the other side. Inhale, bringing the leg in and up and turn it out, bring it in and place it down. This time we're going to do it same side, lift up, turn it out, bring it in, turn it out again and bring it back in. Stepping across, inhale, lift, and this time instead of going out, you're going to bring the leg across, possibly sit down and lift up and place it down. Stay on that same side, we'll just do that again. Inhale, lift, bend the standing knee, bring the leg across and sit down. And last one to the other side. Inhale, lift up, bring the leg across the front of the body, sitting down, lifting up and placing it back down. Inhale, lift up, cross and sit, taking it into a little bit of an eagle pose and place it down. And then go for a little wiggle again. A little circle into one side and then into the other. And then as you sway, we're just starting to finish. We're coming to the end. Reaching the arms out, bend your elbows. And then as you bring your arms out in front, you're going to cross one elbow over the other. And then see if you can grab onto your shoulders. So once there, maybe you can walk your fingers around your back a little bit more. And then keeping the feet steady now, we're going to start to twist through the upper body. So just allowing the gaze to follow over the elbows to begin, so that the head and neck are going with the top of the body. And then keep the head facing forward and just moving the shoulders and the upper torso. There is a little bit of movement down through the side of the body, but not quite as much. Inhale, sweeping the arms forward, bringing them out, lift the chest, and then this time we're crossing the elbows and above. So opposite elbow on top this time. Finding that hug and a little walk the fingers round a little bit more. So I've got my elbows lifted. You can have them tucked in if you prefer. You can tuck the chin or you can lift the chin. And then just start with these little rocks through the shoulders. A little bit of love. And then go for your bigger twists, following the movement with your gaze. And then keeping the head facing the same way as your legs. It's just a rock through the upper body. And release. Give that a little shake. Bring one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly. Shoulders rolling back and down. Tuck the chin in is quite a nice way to end. Taking a deep inhale. And a full exhale. One more. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. And release. And now it's up to you. You can sit down, do a little breath practice, do more physical practice, or go about your day, do something cool.